Welcome back to the channel. Some of you liked the 620 video I did a little while ago. It's got quite a few views. I'm glad you liked that. Today we've got a bit of a treat. We've got its big brother, a 680 to have a look at. And this one is box, which is great. The most exciting thing is not the 680 though, and we'll come to that a little bit later. So here we go. Hope you enjoy. So what we have here is the HP Jornada 680/680E. It's actually 680 in here. The difference between the two is that the 680E doesn't have a modem built in. You've still got the PCMCIA card slot to add one if you wanted to, but it was a kind of more of a cut down version. So let's open this up and have a look. First of all, the box. It's got some writing on it. It's got a bit of a tear down the front here. Otherwise, the box is in pretty good condition. Another sticker here. So it doesn't say who it's going to, but it does give some information. It's a half VGA screen, similar to a lot of the other handhelds at this point, and 16 megabytes of RAM. We'll come to that in a bit. Obviously aimed at the business person, judging by this. These were quite expensive, and HP obviously was a kind of business/enterprise company, and so these were marketed mainly at professionals and people working in offices. It's got a summary of the features on this side here. Something's free. Free value-added software on CD-ROM in the box. It's unlikely that the CD-ROM is still going to be in here at this point. But let's have a look. Oh, it's been very nicely packaged. What's this? Something stuck in the top. So it's kind of like a what's in the box. So got the Jornada 680 itself, standard battery, AC adapter, docking cradle, sync cable, and that's the thing I'm really interested in. Telephone cable for the modem, and then all this is crossed out, which is interesting, and a documentation back. So I wonder if this was a customer return that had some bits missing and then was sold on, and the reseller has crossed out the bits that weren't included in the box. And if that's what it is, who knows? So what have we got? We've got a box of stylus. May never have been opened. The most important thing, the thing I'm quite excited about this box, apart from the Jornada itself, is we've got the 720 series handheld PC sync cable. Now, it says it's for the 720, but I'm hoping this is going to fit certainly this and some of the other models that we looked at before. Got the same kind of sticker on. I think it was ordered at the same time. I'm assuming this has been opened, although there's definitely something in there. Packaging. So I thought that was going to be it itself, but it's actually just a docking cradle. Looks very similar to the 720 docking cradle, with a release catch here, a place to put your stylus, and then the actual Jornada sits in this section here. Rubber feet are still intact, that's nice. So that's all good. And then we've got this power input here and the proprietary serial cable port. So hopefully that's all going to work out okay. What have we got next? This feels heavy. So here we've got the original power supply. Is it the original one? Yes, it is. It's the HP one. It looks like it's a pretty good nick. In fact, it's still got the original cable tie on it, so I'm guessing this was never actually used. Or if it was used in a limited way, just this end being plugged into the base station, I'm guessing. So that's nice to have. What else have we got? Something small. Aha, so this is the modem cable. Still in its wrap. Another moderately heavy thing here. What's this? Aha, it's like a second power supply. It is indeed a second power supply. Also an HP original. Also still got a cable tie on it, so maybe this was never used. Who knows? Nice to have two though. And then there's a box that says the docking cradle, we've already opened that. So what's in here? Another docking cradle. Excellent. That one looks like it's never been used. That is dust free. So brand new in the box. Second docking cradle, that's very handy to have. So I'm guessing this is the actual device itself. It's in a Targus third-party case. It's in reasonable condition. Looks like it has been used. Belt buckle. Who would wear this on their belt? But yes, belt buckle. Nothing in the accessories pouch, so just the device. But again, nice to have. And here it is. So we've got a Jornada. It doesn't say what model it is on the outside. Hopefully it is a 680. It is indeed a 680. Brilliant. It's a little bit dusty, but otherwise looks in good condition. We've got a stylus in here in addition to the spare ones. Nice. Okay, we'll have a look at that in a bit more detail in a moment. Let's just see what the last thing in the box is. User's guide, sort of. It's the first sheet of a PDF that's been printed out, I'm guessing. So there you go. So we haven't got any software, which is as I suspected. Okay, let's quickly tidy up and then we'll have a look at the device itself. So let's have a look at the box now. It's a little bit lighter. So as I said, it's definitely aimed at the business executive. Includes modem in this version. So this is the 680, not the 680E. The compact PC companion for greater on-the-go productivity. Very nice. Lightweight and compact, fits in your coat, pocket or handbag. Work for up to 7 hours without recharging. 7 hours doesn't sound like a lot these days, but in the time that this was produced, most laptops were managing 2.5 hours to 3 hours. Definitely not 4. Some came with double batteries and you could increase that a little bit, approaching maybe 5 to 6 hours. So these did have quite a long battery life, and 7 hours, that's nearly all day from a office work point of view, isn't it? Powered by Windows CE, and then it's got that handheld PC logo. As I said, that's that kind of marketing phrase that that Microsoft were using at the time. Let's have a look at the top. Value added software on CD in the box. I haven't got that in here. If we look on archive.org, I suspect it will be there. Outside in from Inso Corporation. View email attachments from popular PC applications, even if they aren't loaded on your 680. So basically that's like a preview. That's good. Trio Phone Manager from Trio AB. Manage your GSM phone book and send receive SMS messages with your cellular phone and the HP 680 via infrared. So that's nice. TrueSync from Starfish Software. Synchronize your HP Jornada 680 calendar, contact, to-do list and text files with a Rex or Rex Pro card. I desperately want a Rex. Since I discovered them, I've been trying to get hold of one. They are quite hard to find. They're quite cool. If you've ever seen one, you'll know what I'm talking about. Jet Set Print Lite trial copy. Print vivid color documents directly from your HP Jornada 680. Again, that will be using the infrared port, I suspect. Image Expert CE trial copy. View, annotate, and communicate pictures taken with your digital camera on your HP 680. So, useful, but must have been absolutely horrendous because the screens on these devices isn't very good. It's probably as good as the screen was on the back of your very, 1 or 2 megapixel camera at the time. These screens definitely would have been bigger, so editing on these is definitely better than editing on the screen built into the camera, but not by much. So what have we got on the back? So we've got a sticker covering up this, but it says compact, convenient and ready to work. A PC companion that's prepared for any journey, I think it says. Shown here with the dock and the stylus in place. That's obviously been photoshopped because the screen is definitely not that vivid, even at the high brightness and decent contrast settings. Access important information instantly. Find the information you need fast with HP Jornada 680 Instant On capability. Programmable quick launch keys. View the calendar contacts at a glance with HP Viewer software. So yeah, that's the extra thing I showed you. Catch it and update data conveniently. Type emails comfortably with the roomy keyboard. I think calling it roomy is a little bit excessive, but it's at least a decent keyboard. Use the HP Quick Pad to quickly capture and store information when you're on the go. So that's the note function. And then you can synchronize that later. Manage email and personal information easily with an internal modem and Microsoft Pocket inbox. The HP Jornada 680 is ideal for accessing your email. Check your schedule, contacts, and to-do list with Microsoft Pocket Outlook. Integrate with your desktop PC smoothly. The HP Jornada 680 runs on Microsoft Windows CE Handheld PC Professional Edition and includes familiar Pocket versions of Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and Access. Built-in Microsoft synchronization software ensures the files on your desktop and handheld are always up to date. Okay, in the box, one Jornada, docking cradle, AC adapter, sync cable, stylus, quick start guide, user's guide, accessories guide, lithium-ion rechargeable battery. So we've got the hardware, we haven't got the documentation. One HP Jornada compact disc productivity applications, haven't got that. One desktop software for Microsoft Windows CE compact disc, haven't got that. And one desktop software for Microsoft Outlook 2000 compact disc, haven't got that. Minimum system requirements. So 486-66DX or higher, shouldn't be a problem. So here's a summary of the features. High performance features. So 133 MHz Hitachi SSH 332 bits, 16 megs of RAM, 16 megabyte burst mode ROM, full color 6.5 inch screen. Full color is a little bit exaggeration again as well. Largest in its class keyboard with touchscreen and stylus. Powerful built-in software. Optional accessories. 4 or 10 megabyte compact flash cards. Yeah, we can do that. Card and adapter sync cable. Docking cradle, parallel printer cable. I've never seen one of those. AC adapter, got that. Standard battery, extended battery. So I don't have one of those. I imagine it's bigger, but it's, does it go back or does it go down? Down would make more sense in a way. External charger, external keyboard. Okay, how does that work? Is that infrared? Leather case, VGA out, PC card. So these crop up occasionally on eBay. I've not managed to get one yet, but that's an interesting option. So basically you can plug that in the PCM-CIA card slot, and it has a VGA connector on it, and you just plug your projector into it. So if you're using Pocket PowerPoint, you can then display that straight onto a screen without any extra hardware. Pretty good. So there you have it. There's the box. It's a little bit tatty on this particular one, but it's nice to have a box, and it was nice to have all those extras in there as well. So here's the device itself. It looks quite a lot like all the other HP devices from about this point in time. It's similar sort of design with a clamshell, battery at the back, and no catch on the front. Keyboard, it's a proper keyed keyboard in the sense that it's not a membrane on the surface. They're rubber keys. There's the function buttons across the top. Got some silk screen down the right hand side, same as before. Indicator light. And round on the back here, we've got the removable battery. Somebody's put some tape over the rubber cushions. I'm guessing they're starting to melt. And this is definitely a Jornada 680. Serial number is here. On the bottom, you've got this slightly weird compact flash case, speaker, and backup battery. We'll come back to this in a bit. So around the back, there's the serial port that we'll want this cable for. There's a little hole here to put your lanyard through if you want to carry it on a lanyard. Around this side, we've got the modem cover. DC in, we've got the stylus on the front here, and that just kind of pops out similar to the other ones of that era. There's no separate button, it's built into the catch of the stylus itself. We've got some quick record functions here and a lock key, indicator light, microphone, and then just a kind of recess to get your thumb into open it up. As I said, there's no catch on these. Around this end, we've got an infrared port and a compact flash, a PCMCIA card with the eject button. There we go. On the bottom, we've also got the battery release. So this is a click and hold, take the battery out. This looks like it is the original battery. It's an HP branded one. Doesn't have a year of manufacture on it that I can see. Warranty void if broken. That's not broken, so it doesn't look like this has ever been serviced. I'm hoping it's working. We don't actually know that for certain yet. I've got some pogo pins here for the docking station. So here's the equivalent pins here, right next to the release mechanism. So that's the release mechanism catch just there. Over here, you've got this funny little foot stand. And the reason you need that is that when you've got a compact, now when you've got a PCMCIA card in here, this compact flash compartment lifts up, or the other way around, goes down, and so it makes the thing unbalanced, so you have to flip this out so that you can type on it without it rocking. It's a slightly strange arrangement. Kind of makes sense. It does make the whole thing slightly slimmer when it's not being used. Probably easier to get in and out of a pocket. And it doesn't make it any deeper than the battery is when there's something in there, but you do need this extra stand on the other side. Excellent. Let's open it up. So it's a little bit dusty. I'm guessing there's no charge in the battery. No, looks like it's completely dead, which is reasonable. It may be that the battery is dead, or it may be that it's just fully discharged. So let's plug it in and see if it works. Okay, well, we've got a charging light. Oh, it's turned on. Right, so let's see if I can get this at an angle where you can see it on the camera. It's not very easy to see. Okay, starting up. Okay, so we're at the configuration screen. I'm just going to tilt it slightly so you can see. Hopefully you can see that a little bit. So we're at the setup screen. So we need to calibrate the screen, correct the date and time, set the owner information in there. Keyboard work, because I've just pressed enter and it's recognised that. So use a light but firm touch. Do not let the stylus skid on the screen. Don't rest your hand on the screen. Press enter to continue. So this is the same calibration as all the other Windows CE devices. Press enter to accept. Okay. So we are not in Seattle. Let's go somewhere a little bit closer to home. Las Vegas? No, not today. That's going to take a little while, so let's type the number in instead. And it is currently the 17th of June. Let's leave the time as it is. It's actually close enough. So keyboard is working. Setup is complete. Okay, done. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to reposition one of these cameras so you can see this a little bit better. So I hope you can see that pretty well. It's telling us the backup battery is getting low. We know that because we haven't changed it. HP country selector, so we need to choose which country we're in. That's probably because of the modem. Different countries have different requirements for their telephone networks. So basically this is Windows CE 2.11 and it is, at least it was on the original version, I'm not sure if this was upgradable. It was also what's called Windows Handheld PC version 3. So around this time, numbering and nomenclature of operating systems on handheld PCs gets really complicated. But basically, a handheld PC was a Microsoft marketing term that meant you had a Windows CE based device with some specific extras. It had to be It had to have extra third-party software installed that wasn't part of the base Windows CE, for example. It had to have a keyboard and it had to have a certain type of screen. So this is also handheld PC3 compatible. Very confusing, thank you Microsoft. But basically, we've got the standard Windows CE collection of tools. We've got Pocket PowerPoint, Pocket Access, Internet Explorer, Inbox, Voice Recorder, Calendar, Contacts, Tasks, Project, and Excel. Those are the kind of standard ones. And then HP's got some other stuff on here. HP Dial-Up, which will be for the modem. HP Viewer, which might be PDF Viewer, I'm guessing. QuickPad is basically a summary for writing notes. Got a recycle bin. It's very Windows 95-like at this point, Windows CE. So a lot of this looks very familiar, probably. So let's go into here. So this is kind of my PC, as it were. You've got all your usual folders. You've got control panel. You've got databases because this has got access on it. My documents, program files, temporary files, and Windows itself. So if we go into control panel, let's have a look at the system. So in here you can convert kind of RAM into storage and vice versa. This tells us what it is. It's a Hitachi SH3 with 16 megabytes of RAM. There's nothing in the expansion slots 1 and 2, so I presume that's the PCMCI card slot and the compact flash card slot. So Windows CE 2.11, Pocket Internet Explorer version 3, and Pocket Outlook. These are also included in the ROM. And this just tells us about it. Now this device was released in 1999, and that's when the copyright date goes up to. So that all makes sense. So in this control panel as well, we've also got communications. That's for infrared, probably. Dialing for the modem. We can control the display. We can do backups. Let's go into the display one first. So you can change the different backgrounds. That's the standard Windows one. I suspect there's some HP ones in here. No, it's found some other media which is using no HP specific ones by the looks of it. Let's just go for default. Here we can change the kind of themes like you could in Microsoft Windows 95, and you can have high contrast black and white. Some different colour options. Some look a bit terrible. Or we can keep the Windows standard. Let's do that for now. So what else we got in here? HP backup. So this will allow you to back up to compact flash card, I'm guessing. Back up all the data or only specific things, which is good. You can then restore it as well. And because this is in the ROM, you're never going to not have the backup software. So that's good. Country selector have already been through. HP hotkeys. So basically you can reconfigure what these keys along the top here do, and you can also reconfigure these silkscreen ones here. So they all have default functions, which I think is defined by Microsoft from memory. But some of these extra ones down the side, for example, will be HP specific. But you can reprogram to do whatever you want. I think we'll leave everything as a default. So the keyboard. So this will let us choose how fast we want the repeat, etc., and whether there's a noise. There is a noise. Is that... Okay, noise isn't on there, just the repeat rates. Network. So basically this is for standard Windows networking. You can pre-configure your usernames if you want to automatically log in, and there's different default drivers built in, but we can install our own if we had the appropriate hardware. Power. Let's have a look, see what this says. So we're on AC, it doesn't tell us. This implies actually that we're fully charged, but it can't be at this point. The backup battery is dead, we know that, we need to replace that. Talking about suspend, how to turn it on. So you can turn it on when the cover opens, or you have to touch something first. And then you can also reduce the screen brightness. So going back to the display, there's no brightness setting in there, is there? Which is interesting. Regional settings we already did. Add or remove programs. Calibrate the stylus. System we've already looked at. System volumes. So as you can hear, every time I touch the screen there is a noise. Okay, and that's, we can turn these on and out, on and off, and the volume slider here. Got Windows default sound system for dialog boxes, etc. Nothing unusual there. World clock. So we saw this at the setup. So you've got your home time and a abroad time. You can switch between the two. You've got alarms. 5 alarms. Nothing very exciting there. You can add your own cities by the looks of it. Okay, so that's the control panel. What happens when we press the start buttons? So we've got programs. Favorites should be empty. Documents should also be empty. Settings takes you to control panel. Taskbar settings, they're different. Yep. So taskbar is always on top. We can auto hide it to get slightly more screen real estate. And it's telling us to show the clock on there, which is fine. Start menu. We can clear the contents of the documents menu by doing that. Auto hide, that should work okay because we have got a Windows key specifically on the keyboard. So we'll get a few extra pixels down at the bottom. This is half VGA, so it's 640, but instead of being 480, it's only 240 pixels high. And most of the handheld devices around this time were that kind of aspect ratio and that kind of resolution. It meant you can have a short, when folded device. Let's go back to the start menu. So programs, what is in here? So accessories. BFind, that's not a standard thing. Ink Writer, I can't remember if that's standard. Omnisolve, that's probably from HP's calculator days. That's a little calculator for doing interest rates, etc. Useful for mortgages and loans. BFind, I'm sure, is a search tool for searching for specific words or phrases. And it is, you can search, you can ignore the case. You can select what type of document you're looking for. And then when you press search, the results end up in this tab by the looks of it. Shortcuts, that's probably some favorites that you've used before. So that's accessories. Some slightly unusual stuff to put in accessories. I already put them somewhere else, but communication. So this is Active Sync. This allows you to, if you have the right serial cable, to sync with your computer. BFAX Professional, so that is some fax software for the modem. PC Link, remote networking, and terminal. So you can open up a terminal if you've got remote desktop, I think. Remote networking is what that's related to. What's PC Link? Okay, well, it's not letting us go very far, so we don't know. What else is in here? Games. Solitaire, standard. HP applications, so you've got HP Backup, which we talked about, HP Dial-Up from modem, Quick Pad for writing notes, and HP Viewer. HP Viewer is basically this kind of like summary. It gives you a whole month view, which I don't think you get in the standard Outlook. Is that a 2-week view? And then a month and to-do list. So it's slightly more flexible in terms of views than you get with Outlook, which is why it exists. You can also access your contacts as well from in here and your to-do. So it's kind of like an add-on to Outlook, written by HP. And so that's everything in the HP folder. HP Utilities, hotkeys we talked about, HP Macro. So you can record macros and play them back for doing shortcuts. That's quite handy on a small device like this, because sometimes switching between the keyboard and the screen is a bit fiddly because you have to pick up a stylus or have a stylus in your hand. So creating a macro that does certain fixed things for you can be quite time saving. HP settings. Okay, So this is where we get to control the screen. So that's not in the standard control panel for some reason. Okay, so you can set it for indoors, which makes it dimmer, outdoors, which makes it very bright regularly, but with a strange contrast setting. So this might be a transflective screen, which would allow you to see in outdoor lighting. Power saving is going to be very dim, and the standard settings like that. So you can control the brightness of the screen, but obviously the brighter it is, the more battery you're going to use. So the default's quite low, interestingly, and the contrast slider allows you to adjust that. So when we had this outdoor setting, the contrast was way down at the bottom. So I'm thinking maybe it's a transflective screen of some kind. Let's just put the things back where they should be. It's going to make it a little bit easier. And then that's every time you click the screen there's a noise. You can turn that off. Memory. So this just tells us what the memory is doing. We've got that slider in control panel, but this is slightly more information. So yeah, so storage card 1 would be the PCMCIA card if you had a memory type card. Those flash devices for PCMCI are brilliant. They're very useful for conferring data across from laptops in particular. If you can find one, go and get one. And then the compact flash card is card 2, I think. You can set a password. We're not going to bother with that. So I think that's pretty much everything in the HP utilities. Yeah, Office. So you've got the standard Office stuff here. You've got Access, Excel, PowerPoint, and Word. Pocket versions of each. They don't open natively the desktop versions. You have to do the ActiveSync conversion thing for them to work. And then we've got Pocket Outlook, which gets its own menu entry, probably because you've got the multiple functions of Outlook. Pocket Internet Explorer. Let's just open up. Okay, so there's nothing to scroll down to. Okay, so this one seems to do various things, but it brings up HP settings, what we've just been looking at. This looks like a scroll up and down button, and then this is like a window switch, like Alt Tab. Okay, so there we are from a software point of view. Not very exciting if you've looked at a Windows CE device before, particularly an HP one, it's almost exactly the same. The beauty of this is that you can install new software, and that's why we need this cable, and that's why on the previous video we couldn't get very far. We tried installing some stuff off the compact flash card. It wasn't great success. I think using the serial cable and syncing through a desktop, which is what it's supposed to be done, will help us a lot. All right, let's compare the 680 to some of the other devices in the HP range. Okay, well, see if you can guess which is the device we've just been looking at. It's obvious which ones it isn't, and that one. But these three look almost identical, and that was obviously intentional. They obviously found a form factor that was working for them. So we've got a 200LX, got a 300LX, I've got the video that we made before, the 620LX, and then we've got a 680. Nope, got 690. See, even I'm getting confused. Got a 690, we've got the 680 and the 720. So these three are pretty much identical. We've got the two black and white devices here, and there was a change in nomenclature around this sort of time here. So basically, HP handheld devices had the words or the letters LX after them. I'm not sure what that stood for. If you know, put a comment down below. But basically, it started with a 95LX, which isn't here. I've got one, but I haven't got it on display. That line culminated in the 200LX, and they were all DOS based, and so they were completely PCXT compatible, apart from the 95 because it's a funny screen. But basically, these were a full PCXT in a small form factor. Then, because of Windows CE, we moved to Windows CE devices, and you start with the 320, but in many ways it's the spiritual successor. It's black and white, it's got the same kind of keyboard, same kind of device. It runs off batteries rather than a built-in battery. It takes 2 AA's. So, you know, it's a very similar device to the 200, just kind of more updated and with a graphical user interface rather than the DOS-based one on that. Then we've gone to the 620, And this is where in colour gets introduced, and you can see that from the logo. So these two are black and white devices, and then all of these are colour. It got a little bit bigger, the 620, than the 320, but then things shrunk again. I'm going to move those two around. Things shrunk again to the 680, and then you stayed with that form factor pretty much identical through the 680, the 690, the 700, 720, 728. They were all pretty much identical. There was also a change in nomenclature. So basically, these are all LXs, and they don't mention the word Jornada on them at all. Not even on the product labels, not inside. But then following this, I think this was internally considered a Jornada device, but after that everything's branded as Jornada rather than LX. So you got the 600 series and then the 700 series. In terms of design, they're all very similar. They're all clamshells with a keyboard at the bottom. There are some design differences. So this has got a catch, and so has the 300, but the catch has disappeared by the time you get to the 620. What else is different? You haven't got any shortcut keys on the front of these devices, these three, and then from the 680 onwards you have these shortcuts for recording memos. The indicator light appears here on this kind of point in the cycle, but otherwise, you know, physical dimensions got a little bit bigger here and then shrank again here, but stayed roughly the same size. This is obviously the size that HP would thought would be the best. In terms of keyboards, so here you've got a calculator style keyboard, carry through to the 300 and the 620, and then from then onwards you get the, from the, I think it's from the 660, which I haven't got, you get a proper keyboard, and it's the same pretty much through. In terms of feel, these three are definitely better than the previous three, and the keys got a lot bigger between these two generations. The key size is bigger on these, but the distance between the sensors is about the same. So these are all fairly easy to use in terms of finger typing if you've got smallish fingers. They're not great, you can't type very quickly, but you can definitely type on these without too much thinking about it. You don't have to kind of specifically press the buttons to make these keyboards work. They are a bit more like a traditional desktop keyboard. Screen size is pretty much the same on all of them. The 300 and 320 have a slightly bigger screen, slightly deeper for some reason. I don't know if they changed the pixel aspect ratio or something, but just a little bit bigger on that, and maybe the 620 as well. Otherwise they're very, very similar. In terms of resolution, they're all half VGA apart from this one, so which is CGA based. So basically it's 640 by 240. These were 4 color grayscale devices, these two. Then you get into 256 color with the 620, and then you get up to 16-bit color with the other devices. Of all of these, the 620 is definitely the smallest, and the 620, the 200LX is definitely the smallest, and the 620 is definitely the biggest, and the others are all pretty much the same size. There's not a lot between these. So as I mentioned, the other thing that changed a little bit is how they're powered. So these generations use AA batteries, whereas from this generation onwards, I think it might have been from the 320, you have the custom lithium batteries. They're not interchangeable between these, I don't think, although I've never actually checked. Shall we have a quick look? Oh, they look very similar actually. It may be that they are interchangeable. It's certainly the lock mechanism is the same. The power supply pins are at the same end, so it may be that the batteries are interchangeable between these, which would be helped by the same form factor. In terms of thickness, the 200 is the thinnest and the 620 is the thickest. This you can easily fit in a pocket, possibly even a trouser pocket. These are much more suited to jacket pockets really, and this is definitely the biggest of the lot. The Windows CE branding appears on the surface of these 4, but not this one, even though that is a Windows CE device. It's quite restrained, much more like the 200LX. Similar, it's got a boring grey colour in a nice way. No branding on the outside. No Windows CE branding on the inside either. So coming back to what else is in the box, we've got the dock, which is a bit dusty. So obviously probably was used. We've got this cable, which we're going to explore a little bit, and the power supply. And the power supply can either go straight into the device here, or it can go into the dock around the back, like that. Same with the serial sync cable. Let's open this up. So these, on their own, are blooming expensive. I think they're about £40 last time I looked. That's if you can find one. Because they have this proprietary port on it, it looks a bit like a USB, but it isn't. Because of that, you can't use anything else. Nobody else makes this connector that I'm aware of, so you can't even bodge up a third party or your own cable. But this also can go directly into the device, like that. Or if you have the dock, it can go directly into the dock, like that. So it's labelled as a 720 dock, but it obviously fits the 600 series as well. And what I'm really hoping is that it will also fit the 300. Let's find out. It does. So basically this one cable is going to suffice for all of the HP Jornadas and LXs I've got that are Windows CE based. The DOS-based LXs have a slightly different serial cable, which is slightly thicker and shallow. Now those you can bodge up a cable for. That's another video day. So let's put this back in here. The dock's very light. I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't take it out, properly. The dock would come with the device sometimes. So just clicks in like that. We have a power indicator coming on straight away, so we know the dock's working. And there is this little hole here to put in your stylus, which you can change the angle of should you desire. So that way you can sync to your desktop PC, assuming it's got a serial connector, and you can I've never seen that before. There was a little DOS screen appeared. It might have been some equivalent of a BIOS, but there was a little DOS screen appeared just before the Jornada logo. Never seen that before. Is that because it's on the dock, I wonder? Interesting. Having the dock does increase the height of the device a little bit. It's still possible to touch on it. It's not too high for a keyboard, so that's good. And so you've got the stylus here if you do need it. And the dock, this particular dock came with this device, but I suspect, because the form factor is unchanged, I suspect it would also fit these other two devices as well. So the 690 and the 690 and the 720. They look like they've got the connector and the pogo pins in exactly the same place. So that spare dock that was in the box would work with one of these if I need it to. Excellent. So looking at the underside, we've got this compact flash card right next to the PCMCI card. And this is a bit fiddly to use. You've got to pull this and it kind of pops up, and it's a bit kind of fragile hanging on the back there. So it's not a great design for the compact flash card. They go in this way around. No, they go in this way around. No, they do go in this way around. And then that just clicks in, pops back down. And that's all well and good, apart from then when you put a PCMCI card in the card slot, what happens is this whole assembly pops up. Now it isn't any higher than the battery, but you do have to pop this out, otherwise it's not stable. So if I flop that back in, this is just resting on the table on this end, but not on this end. So interesting design choice. As I can see why they did it, but it is a little bit fiddly. With the miniaturization that happens in the 700 series, you can get a compact flash and a PCMCI card in without having to have this kind of expandable chassis. That just pops back down on a spring mechanism. This just slides out, but it just feels like you're going to pull the whole door off. So there we have it, the Jornada 680. Not a 680E, but it would be exactly the same apart from not having the little modem built in. So I hope you found that video interesting. You can probably tell the most exciting bit for me was getting hold of this cable. We're now going to be able to use that with many of the other HP devices that we've got and get some software installed on there properly. It gives a good way of trying out some different software from around the era. Trying to copy things over on Compact Flash didn't work that well if you've seen the other video. As I said, there's a link to it up here. This hopefully is going to work much better because we can sync things across rather than trying to directly copy them. So, hope you found the video useful. Look out for the follow-up where we put some software on this device and have a bit of a play. Thanks for watching. See you next time.